two, one. Welcome to The Sounding. We aim to provide sexual trauma survivors with a path to healing in order to tell their stories. We always start with a disclaimer that while we are experts in our own lived experiences, we are not therapists, doctors, lawyers. We don't have all the answers. We're just here sharing things that work for us, things that concern us, and things that we want to change as a community. So thank you for being here. Today's episode is a start of something very special. Dina has officially named it Sound Off Sundays, and I love it. So what that means is we're going to show up once a month on Sunday and have a video for you where it's more general conversation, a little bit of getting to know us, and hopefully a chance for you guys to join in and get to share your stories and your journeys and healing practices that work for you and anything that you want to share. So again, thank you for being here, and we'll get started.
Yes. So today we just kind of wanted to talk about why we're here. But before we get started, it would be so grateful if you would subscribe so that you know when we have new videos, like, comment, and share. But subscribing means so much to us because this journey means so much to us.
Yes.
So Shea and I really met just a little over a year ago. And it's amazing how aligned we are on this project. One of the reasons that we aligned, of course, is we talk about being part of the criminal justice system. And Shea gave me the honor of being a part of that and watching her go through her journey. And that was very healing for me because it enabled me to step back without having such an emotional attachment to it. I mean, I did because I loved Shea, but it wasn't at the same level of when you're in it. And I think I was able to hold space for Shea in that process as well.
Yeah. And thank you. The way we met is through a fellow survivor, and I'm just so grateful for them sharing their story with me, and then that just led me to Dina, and it was interesting because we kept running into each other at healing gatherings, and it was obviously a clear sign from source, universe, whatever you want to call it or believe in, that we are meant to do great things together. And so that is, I think, like, I don't want to say it's a why, but that is, the start to our journey. And I think it's beautiful that we align on a lot of things. I think it's beautiful that what you guys don't see, and maybe you will through this, is that we don't always agree on everything, but we appreciate dialogue, and we appreciate people having courage to use their voice to talk about things that concern them.
Yeah, and I think, one of the reasons we really wanted to do this is because we do have very in-depth conversations about our own journeys, and what's worked for me doesn't necessarily work for Shea and vice versa, but we always honor each other's journey and experiences and learn from each other. And I think that that's what's lacking a lot in community these days, is that either we're in our phones so we don't have to engage with each other, or we come from a place of judgment and hold on to things that are no longer meant for us or aligned with us. Because as you go on your journey and become more settled and change your behaviors, the same people that once spoke to you in a real way might not. And so letting go is part of that. And for me, I had to let go of almost all of my friends, and there were times where I felt so lonely and so, unsure. But then I started aligning with beautiful people like Shea, and it made me realize, like, this work is leading me to humans that are also doing the work. And that's the thing. Like, don't get lonely. Know that your community will show up.
Yeah. And that's a huge part of my why is community, and I just have it's in me to want to do the work and give back to a space that has really taken care of me. I fortunately have been a survivor that I have not had to, my family has always believed me, and I've had support. And I think it is a huge part of my why is I want to be support for other people. I want you guys to really reach out, or I want you to, at least when you come here, feel validated, feel seen, feel heard, feel empowered and encouraged. Because the stuff that we're talking about here at the Sounding, the things that we're sounding off about are heavy, but it doesn't mean that you can't still feel grounded and then hopefully get to a place that Dina likes to talk about a lot, which is a good thing, is joy. You know, we want you to be happy. We want you to feel fulfilled. We want you to feel supported and safe. And that's a huge part of my why, is making sure that these videos or the things that I'm sharing is helping somebody feel that.
Yeah, and I think my experience is different in Shea's in the sense that my family didn't believe me. That for me, my family was toxic and I wasn't able to heal in that environment. So I didn't have a sense of community, and I had to create that. And in order to create the community that I wanted, I had to first become that. And so I think that's an important part of the journey to joy that I like to say, because I am very joyful and I've not always experienced that. I mean, I tell people a lot that I was a mean person at one point, and the new people in my life can't believe that. I was confrontational, I was angry, I went into the world thinking that it owed me something.
Same.
And now I'm to this place where I'm like, no, I owe the world something. I should show up with joy and love and non-judgment, and that's where like the true feelings of bliss happen. And I'm so grateful. That does not mean I have it all figured out. That does not mean that things going on in my day wouldn't wreck other people's days. I just look at them differently. Like today, my phone got broken.
Yeah.
And normally in my past life, that would have been a huge sense of trauma. And today I was like, well, I don't know why that happened, but I'm just going to let it go. Mm-hmm. And I feel that in a very real way. I'm not pretending to be joyful.
I witnessed it too. I witnessed the phone breaking, and me as an observer is like, how is she going to handle this? You know, just genuinely curious. Sociology is my background, so I like to study people. And yes, like she took it like a G.
So, and part of it is I'm traveling, so I now will be traveling without communication.
Yeah.
So, and it's a Sunday. So many reasons why I could have let it take my joy, but I'm not going to. And I believe that because I'm aligned, that I will make it home safely, that communication will be back online.
Well, and can I ask you, is it safe to say that a lot of the things we talk about, the healing practices like mindfulness, taking breaths, and grounding yourself so that you respond how you want to, did you find yourself using those tools today?
I did, yes. And if you had walked by earlier, you would have seen me also trying to manifest my phone back.
You're like breathing with it.
Like, please, I've done good things. But yes, and all from obviously, you know, a fun place. But
yeah, but you weren't. It's beautiful to see somebody in a very, we all know how that feels.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure all of us at this point have broken or lost or whatever, a phone or something valuable that is expensive and has our life in it.
Yes.
It was a beautiful thing to witness. Like you take it like a G.
Yeah.
Very, very, very calm and very accepting.
Yeah, and I think that there was a time where I wasn't calmness in other people's life. And now that I am, that's part of my why. Because I understand that if other people listening to us are inspired to do the work, that's just raising the collective. And that's all we can do, in my opinion. We're at a time now where we could choose to be involved in the news and be involved in all these awful things and really, you know, keep our vibration at a low level, or we can choose to understand that this is part of the process, and whatever is happening right now is bigger than us, and that the only thing we can do is to create, you know, happiness and believe that love and abundance is all here and readily available for us. So I'm so woo-woo and happy that the Dina from before would have hated me.
And I want to speak on, so you brought up vibrations. It automatically made me want to say out loud and just reiterate that that's not woo-woo. We are energetic beings. We have frequencies in us. We are vibrating, and it is about what we consume. We are what we eat, what we see, what we breathe, what we hear. So if we are constantly listening to things that have negative messages, what do you think we're programming ourselves with?
Right.
And then it makes it that much harder to get out of that programming. But it's not impossible. It's just we have to become more aware of what we're consuming. And that doesn't mean I'm not listening to, ratchet music and watching
anymore,
movies
right?
and stuff.
Like, a lot of things have been ruined for me, right?
Well, and that's your journey.
Yeah.
And my journey is different. I put on a stand-up comedy last night, and she was hilarious, but totally, some people would have jaws dropped, right? But that's the joy that Dina's speaking to, be able to still access. And yeah, I think that is a huge part of my why too, is I shouldn't be here. I was just talking with my therapist on Thursday, and she validated me in the fact that what I've been through, the 7 years that I went through child sexual abuse at the hands of family members, plural, I shouldn't be here. Or at least I shouldn't be doing the things that I'm doing. And I don't want to be an inspiration. That's another thing that I want to share is this last year I've really been investigating the word inspiration and changing it out with the word encouraging. I'm here to encourage you to, accept that you went through what you went through and use it as fuel to do whatever the hell it is you want to do in life. If you dream it, you can do it, and that's not woo-woo. If you really could see this studio, this is a bedroom in my house that is under construction, and we've just used what we have in here to make a studio because we want to, and we have the tools to not get caught in the looping anymore of what happened.
Right. And then communicating. For me, 2 years ago, I could barely even take a selfie, let alone sit on a video. And so that's just part of it too, is finding peace with yourself and accepting who you are. And, just enjoying life and knowing that we all are here for a purpose. And it's not just to work and make money. It's to find the things that make us happy and want to inspire others to also find that happiness. And we've all been, in my opinion, indoctrinated.
I'm encouraging others.
Indoctrinated into this belief that we're here to work, and we're here to have fun. We are. And part of that is, forgiving ourselves for the things that have happened and, finding love.
Yeah.
And wonderful people to spend time with.
Yeah.
That make you grow.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I'm so grateful for our friendship.
Me too.
So that's it. That's just kind of a little about who we are, and we're going to try to kind of have open conversations.
Well, do you want to talk a little bit more about our own survivor journeys?
We can. For me, I grew up in, a household where I was traumatized, groomed to accept sexual abuse, and as a result, allowed it for most of my life, raped, trafficked, and I really didn't understand the word grooming until, my husband walked out on me after 25 years, and I found myself alone, and I really didn't understand what a lot of my behavior was. And then I started to allow those memories to come up of what had exactly happened to me, and why did I allow other people to treat me with neglect. And as a result, I really don't have much of my family in my life, because that's been my choice. It's safer for me. I do have 2 beautiful daughters that I adore, and I'm so very proud of them, and I tried to break cycles for them. Unfortunately, I didn't on a lot of places, but, they're going to learn their own journeys and their own paths. So, I lived a very traumatized life. I had complex PTSD, things that most people, like Shea said, don't make it out. I definitely tried to commit suicide several times. Very grateful that I was not successful. So, yes, I have had dark days, and I'm not ashamed of them, and I'm so proud of myself, and my inner child is proud of me for the work that I've done. And as a result, unfortunately, when we're traumatized and we don't have boundaries and we don't listen to our instincts because of grooming, it's hard for us to protect the ones that we love. So a lot of my why is that I want to do the work now for my next generation. I want to show my daughters that I'm serious about healing and, open to apologizing and having those real conversations with them. So they're a lot of my why, too. And just in general, I find joy in watching other people waking up.
Yeah. Yeah, I am a mother as well of 2, and I love them, and they are a huge part of my why. My backstory I shared a little bit earlier. So I am a survivor of childhood sexual abuse. Of course, that led into, and I grew up in I had a chaotic childhood, I will say that. While it looked very put together from the outside, on the inside, I'm in therapy and still working through things. And I did share that my family has always supported me, and I think one day I will be able to write a beautiful book on the fact that families can heal together, and can heal generational trauma. They can end it and heal it. I'm experiencing that in my family right now. But I went on to have a lot of high-risk behaviors. I've definitely been in trouble with the law for, OWI, if you're familiar with that. And that's back in the day when I was living in fight or flight and had no idea about any of the things that I am well aware of now. And somehow, some way, I was still able to stay on track, though. I played soccer in college. I did drop out because of all of this and ended up moving to Chicago. But living in Chicago, I was working for City Year, an AmeriCorps program, and really planning out my pathway through the nonprofit world to make sure that I was building on top of my skill set to get to the next position that I wanted. And what I wanted to do was really get good at understanding how to run a nonprofit, how to create engaging and sustainable and impactful, meaningful programming and curriculum. And I've done all that. I now run a nonprofit with my husband, and we work with student athletes. I share these practices that I wish I would have had in college. I think again, it's my journey to here. I wouldn't be here without that journey, and so it's not even maybe a why at this point. It is.
Right.
I'm here because I have to. It's my duty. It's an honor to be here because me too. I should be dead. I've tried to commit suicide and didn't go through with it, and thank goodness, something stopped me that day and was like, no, you're meant to be here. And I was like, okay, here we go. And here we are. And it's a beautiful thing. And I hope that you guys, again, feel safe and supported when you come here. And I hope that we believe you.
Absolutely. We do. So that's going to lead us into, well, we always like to close with a healing practice. So obviously we're talking a lot about ourselves and how we got to know each other. So we think it's important to talk about finding a sense of community during this process. So that might be your church. It may be other survivors, could be family, friends, but people that really align with where you're going. I know for me, I found a lot of those people in the yoga studios, at sound healings. I started going to a lot of festivals or just healing places in general. I mean, I've walked on fire, I've done ayahuasca, I've done a lot of things. And in those processes, I've found similar people that are also really taking this part of their lives seriously. So, community is important.
Same. I've found the exact same spaces for me to be a place of alignment with people who are on the same or thinking more along the same way as me. Yoga studios, cacao ceremonies are a cool place to do that. And then even just going to the gym, like go to the gym or maybe take a class, like a pottery class or something. Like getting back to this idea of, connecting with your inner child and healing that piece of you. Sign up for something that you've always wanted to do, and then maybe there you're going to find your new bestie.
Right. Animals are very healing, so experiences with animals, grounding, that's an important
maybe
part.
You go volunteer with animals, and that becomes your new community.
Yeah, just getting out, and don't be afraid, because everybody is nervous. Some people just play it off.
Maybe you start your own community.
Right, exactly, yes. So lots of options, and if you have places that have helped you heal, please comment. Like us, subscribe.
Know that this is your community if you can't think of one. You are a survivor at the sounding.
Right. And we would love to have people come on, whether it be through a Zoom call or meeting us somewhere, but to tell your own stories, or if you have an expertise in the world of healing that you want to share. We'll definitely be having experts on, because we've met some fantastic people along the way.
Yes.
So we're always open to sharing other people's stories and talents and things that they have found to be helpful in this process. Yes, because when survivors speak,
the silence and